Yes, you were in the wrong place. I'm kidding. But really, if you are in the wrong place, go find your mom. She might be able to help. If you're wondering, who's this little critter on your screen? I'm not sure. What are you watching? I'm kidding. Hi, my name's Hannah. And that is Hanna. And if you associate me with any of those Hannah girls, I'll be offended. I'm kidding. Some of y'all are alright, but some of y'all are... Anyway, I'm here to explain to you why, though cute, beautiful, really just a wonder of nature, and science and computer science and design, Doug from Up. Don't let me get off on a tangent here. Doug from Up, the cinematic masterpiece, he is in fact, and unfortunately, not a reliable depiction of ADHD. Wild, I know. All of our aunts and uncles and weird grandparents on Facebook have spread those memes around forever. But turns out, it was all a lie. So that's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're here to talk about. ADHD. Hi. Combined type. I'm on the extended release. Adderall. Where my combined type baddies at? Okay. That was stupid. Anyway, so let's just give you a little rundown of what ADHD entails and its prevalence and some statistics and some facts and figures and I don't know, sciencey shit. So in 2016, you like how I switched into character so fast? In 2016, the CDC found that 6.1 million children aged 2 to 17 years living in the U.S. had been diagnosed with ADHD. And if you don't know what ADHD stands for, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Contrary to popular misconception, you do not grow out of ADHD, and also, it does not only occur in boys. According to the CDC, the estimated prevalence of adults aged 18 to 44 years old with a current diagnosis of ADHD is 4.4% of the adult population. Overall, while yes, the rate for males is higher at 5.4%, females are still living with ADHD at the rate of 3.2%. And yes, this is what I always knew. Us ladies, we're much more rare and unique than men. Hold on. Actually, me from a second ago, women are actually greatly... Oh shit. So, the problem isn't with us being unique, it's that we're not diagnosed enough. So, yeah. The problem is that while boys probably suffer from ADHD at a slightly higher rate than women, it's still an issue within the statistics that girls are largely underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed due to the way we present. So boys tend to be the stereotype that a lot of people have about ADHD, which is the hyperactive little boy, just generally causing a ruckus, chaos within the classroom. And girls tend to present more as the inattentive type. So that means they're the ones who are getting lost in daydreams and doodling in class, and that's pretty much what it looks like at a younger age. So since it doesn't seem as big of a problem, it doesn't occur on other people's lives as much. Girls go underdiagnosed. For me personally, I was diagnosed at 21 last year. So yeah, it probably would have saved me a lot of like heartache if I would have known earlier, so I could have like learned how to like live around it. But you get what you get in this bitch of a life. Anyway, something that I've also heard thrown around a lot, especially among the likes of the TikTok teens, the TTTs, if you will, among others on the internet, is the term neurodivergent. And you may say, yes, I've heard that, but what the fuck does it mean? And no, this isn't just like a quirky way to say, I'm different. I'm not like the other girls. She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. Anyway, neurodiversity simply means that those of us who are neurodivergent, so that would be people living with ADHD, who are on the autism spectrum, people with dyslexia, and I think dyspraxia. Don't quote me on that. Look it up if you haven't already. That's simply an umbrella term for all of those disorders. So it just means that people who are under that umbrella of neurodivergent, they have a less than typical cognitive variation. Meaning, in short, we think in Russian while neurotypical people think in Mandarin. Very different, but also leads to a lot of misunderstanding on top of that. So, speaking of misunderstandings, here is a running list. And yes, I have made a Reddit post about this, asking people, what's your pet peeve? Like, what's the worst advice you get on a regular basis about your ADHD from people who don't have ADHD? And this is a few of the ones that people are sick of hearing. So things like, set an alarm. I haven't thought of that, Judy. Crazy. You just changed my life, rocked my world. Just do one thing at a time. Just pay attention. We're going to get into why these are... I'm trying to approach this from an empathetic perspective on behalf of people who do not have ADHD, okay? I'm trying to be nice. But it is annoying. Because, would you tell a person with depression, like massive depression, to be like, would you say like, hey, you should smile more. Just be happy. No, because it's stupid. Okay, and that's why I'm here, because we're gonna get educated, okay? Educated. And so then we will say these silly things that make people kind of upset. So, to make it easier for myself, and for everyone watching this to learn more, I have organized these complaints and or common suggestions into easily digestible categories. The first of which being... Let me stack my papers. That's too close to the microphone. The first of which being a category I like to call, hey, that was kind of insulting, don't you think? These types of suggestions are the ones like, try harder. Just do one thing at a time. Just focus. Or the real chef's kiss of all suggestions, which is, just pay attention. And in my head, and many others' heads, these comments evoke that feeling you would get if you called your local geek squad. And you're like, hey dude, my computer screen is blinking bright red and it's sparking sometimes. And they were like, have you tried turning it on and off? Shit, dude, you just blew my fucking mind. No. That's not how it works. It's not that simple. So, like I said, in this video, we're going to try to be empathetic. But that's how it feels. Because, God forbid, your computer is sparking and someone says, have you tried pressing the on and off button? You mad genius, dog. Anyway. So, the problem with this general area of suggestions is that it is not as simple as the cultural zeitgeist of cognition surrounding ADHD likes to make ADHD seem. ADHD is not simple laziness or a lack of motivation. It's actually a chemical imbalance and a lack of stimulation from that chemical imbalance and a disordered executive function. So let me explain. Essentially, ADHD people's brains lack dopamine, which is like the happy drug for your brain. It's a neurotransmitter. It just like locks in there. And norepinephrine, which is adrenaline. To get us going and focused, most people require those things popping off in their brain, and people with ADHD have a severe deficit of those. So, as for the second bit about executive functioning, that term refers to the work our brain does in the super mature and wine-sipping and adult thinking and that academic area of your brain, the part of your brain that is like fine wine, gets better with age. It's called the prefrontal cortex. It's basically where your mature, rational, logical thinking and decision-making is formed, and where there is dysfunction up in there, it gets wild and wacky. ADHD can rear its ugly head in the ways we measure executive function, such as deficits in inhibition, or what may present as impulsivity, planning and problem solving, hard to clean dishes because dishes look like a lot. And of course, self-motivation. Will completing this task give an ADHD person an immediate rush of dopamine? No. Yeah, I'm gonna go get myself stuck into like a Google rabbit hole about tornadoes and how they happen. Essentially, executive functioning, when it is dysfunctioning, can lead to a lot of developmentally inappropriate things, such as not knowing how to organize your time, not knowing how to organize pretty much freaking anything, getting hyper-focused on things that actually give you dopamine and make you kind of happy about something for once in your godforsaken life. And also, there are more criteria for executive functioning and how we measure that. But those are the ones that I'm really pointing to when it comes to this area of common suggestions and tricks and tips that our ADHDers get. So, this is only scratching the surface of the issues faced by people when it comes to these oversimplifications of how we should just do it. Simply put, the word just followed by anything is where you should maybe stop and rethink what you're about to say and that weird platitude that you're about to tell to the anxious college kid who's hanging on by a thread, the Red Bull they drank for dinner, the Adderall they took this morning, and the 7 projects they saw, essentially akin to a monster hiding under their bed. Don't say it. It doesn't help. So, we move on. This is a section I like to call PSA. TikTok cannot diagnose you, and neither can that weird BuzzFeed quiz about your favorite dessert determining how ADHD you are. These include lovely phrases such as, I have a little bit of ADHD. Do you, Deborah? Do you? She's quirky. Sometimes she just impulsively buys that candle at Bath and Body Works. And other phrases like, I lose things all the time. Too. I also lose things all the time. Which, like, if that was like all ADHD was, we wouldn't be here. Anyway, this is where I have to say the disclaimer, the cool public service announcement. If you feel like you are suffering with life-altering or distressing mental health issues, no matter how big or small, please, pour it, please, with a cherry on top. Go seek professional care. The pretty girl with pink hair on TikTok cannot diagnose you. I'm sorry. I know this is hard to hear. And yes, I hear you. She is very pretty. But she's not your doctor or therapist, okay? Please go get professional help. Don't rely on TikTok to diagnose you, 'cause you will not have a good time. Anywho, now that's over, let me get on my soapbox. Just imagine I'm standing on a wholesale box of Irish Spring. Glorious. You can be bubbly, you can be outgoing, you can be easily distracted, and you can be messy and still not have ADHD. Crazy, right? And this is where I'd like to reference my first section about how ADHD is a bit different than what a lot of people think it is. Also, you can't like have a touch, like a little of ADHD. That's not how it works. Or any mental disorder. Let me just say that. Go ahead and get that out of the way. You can't have like a touch of it. It doesn't come in like a light form, like a low calorie form. Like you get it or you don't. Okay? And they are not fun, additive quirks of personality that you cherry pick when to add into your life when it suits you. These are real medical disorders. Emphasis on disorders that require professional diagnosis and treatment, and they are just that, disorders. They affect people's lives negatively. They are not funky or fresh, okay? They're not for anyone to pull out like a collectible when they want to pull interest their way. I will now step down from my Irish Spring box. But I'm still watching you. Yes, you. I'm watching you, Bethany, the girl who claimed to have ADHD in middle school because she saw iCarly one too many times and assumed the word random as a part of her identity. Yeah, we remember. We remember. Lastly, at least for this particular video, it's a section I shall call, Okay, Aunt Becky, you took one yoga class and ate a salad and now you think you are the epitome of healthy living. These fun tips and tricks usually sound like this. Don't drink so much coffee. You're going to get hyper and unable to focus. Or, you should try yoga. Or keto, or go vegan, or insert any other diet fad or exercise regimen. Okay, first and foremost, don't comment on the ways someone eats or how they may or may not exercise unless you are, in fact, their doctor. Again, Aunt Becky should not be your doctor, and if she is, I'm worried for you, and also she's probably not. So therefore, hi Aunt Becky, stop saying that shit, okay? It's not funny, it's not cool, it's not helpful. Your little niece or nephew, they probably have enough shit to worry about than to hear from you about how they should try hot yoga. Like, that sounds disgusting. No offense to anyone who does hot yoga. Just sounds uncomfortable. Anyway, as for caffeine, the little coffee bit, simply put, caffeine is a stimulant. Guess what Adderall is? Guess what Ritalin is? Oh, I'm hearing answers. The one person who said jelly beans, no, it's a stimulant. Caffeine is a stimulant. And so is Adderall, and so is Ritalin. So, not saying to replace caffeine with your prescribed medications, but it actually helps us focus. And for me personally, it's a wild card, man. It's a little game of Russian roulette anytime I drink a quad latte, or a Red Bull. It's like I drink it and it may do what I want it to do, which is wake me up and help me focus. And sometimes it can stabilize my brain enough to make everything in it finally shut the fuck up and I get sleepy. So yeah, that's not, I hate when it does that. Anyway, it's different for everyone. But again, caffeine is a stimulant, so it helps people with deficient stimulation naturally, as I just fucking said. And if you aren't this person's doctor that you are trying to give advice to, shut up. I'm sorry. Just shut up about any food or beverage they may consume. They probably didn't ask you in the first place, and you probably aren't licensed to give health advice anyway. So let's just all agree to shut the fuck up. On a less heated note, yes, diet and exercise changes may help some people cope with some of their ADHD symptoms, and that is something their doctor may suggest if they see in their professional opinion that it may help. But like I said, if you aren't their doctor, it's not your business, baby. It's not. So, in conclusion, what have we learned up in these beans? Anyway, while this is an extremely summarized overview of ADHD and the often well-meaning words of advice we so often receive from those without ADHD, I still hope this helps someone out there maybe gain a better understanding of maybe their friends and family that may have ADHD. It's a weird time for us too. So don't feel bad if you've ever tried giving advice or if you made assumptions accidentally and you didn't realize that you didn't know it all. We don't all know it all. It's okay. Don't feel bad. Pat yourself on the back for watching this video and learning a little bit. It's only human for us to not completely understand issues we don't personally face. However, it is up to us to put forth the effort to educate ourselves on those issues to become more compassionate, empathetic, and overall good humans. So, my word of advice, which is so ironic seeing as I just said, like, this is all bad advice. But my word of advice is, if somebody in your life is going through something with their mental health and you don't quite understand it, first of all, educate yourself. And second of all, if you really want to know and you want to, maybe feel like you want to let this person know that you really care about them and you want to understand and you want to be there for them, just ask them. If they're comfortable with it, of course. If they're comfortable telling you and explaining things and explaining why they do certain things and whatever. If you're interested in learning more and trying to help them, it's okay to ask questions. For the most part, we're cool with it. But if they're not cool with it, figure that out and do the research on your own. It's all out there. Google's free. If you watched all the way through, hi again. I'm Hannah. I plan on making videos similar to this one, dabbling into psychology and other videos about true crime, cultural phenomena, movies, TV, things my brain shits out, other things I may find interesting. So, if you like this video, please share, like, comment, subscribe, adopt a puppy, take care of that puppy, nurture that puppy, send me pictures of that puppy, and also have a great day.
So this money shit, yeah, it's been on my mind. Fuck your posse clear.